the 5 steps. And so now they're doing the front step, side step, the backstroke, the understroke, and all of that. And they can't quite get themselves together because their minds are so boggled, and the people that they hang with are so negative. You know, I hear a lot of stuff as a pastor, and we pastors, we hear some stuff sometimes that we have to shake ourselves and get our minds together, because some of the stuff that we hear, it tends to sort of push us into a negative mindset ourselves. For example, everybody now has the answer on what the church ought to be doing. The problem becomes, why aren't we doing some of that? I mean, we don't need all the steps. We need somebody making some steps. Did y'all get that? Otherwise, we have the steps and we're standing in one place. All right? Well, that's what steps do. You don't move steps, but no, you have feet to walk on them. You have feet to go up and down them. Steps don't move, but you use them, but you do make steps with your feet. Okay? So then if your life is so boring, and I find people like that a lot of times in the church, if they don't get a shot, if they don't get just a feeling, all they get is just another platform to start thinking, how do I fabricate another excuse to not do God's work? How do I fabricate that? Consequently, they hang with what you might want to put this in your notes. They hang with what we call the let's make, not a deal, but let's make an excuse minded people. Those are the folk, they make excuses for all of the kingdom purposes or the kingdom business. Have you ever noticed how some people sometimes, when it comes to the church or the things of the church, they always want an easy way out? Okay, all right. They coin phrases like, I'm too blessed to be stressed. And if God is in it, it shouldn't be a burden. And if God is in it, it shouldn't be a weight or load. And if God is in it, it shouldn't be. Well, I read the Apostle Paul the other day, the one that's given these directions. Paul says, I was in weariness in my body. He says, I was in the deep. He says, I was beaten. He says, as a matter of fact, it got so bad one time until they had to let me down out of the building through a window in order to escape. Are y'all hearing me? And Paul says, I was persecuted even by my own fellow brethren. He says, as a matter of fact, I had some folk with me. He said, demons forsook me because he loved this present world. He says, now, Alexander the coppersmith, he did me much evil, but the Lord rewarded him for, his evil. Then he goes on, Paul the apostle makes it clear. He says, now, I don't have anybody with me right now but Luke. He says, even though Luke is with me, when I first stood, I wish I was in the Bible church. See, y'all have a misconception sometime of this thing, and you think it's supposed to be that easy. Now that it's no longer easy, then, you make excuses. You know what we need to do now. This is what we need to do. I don't care what you do. You cannot eradicate. You